Well, on to a lighter subject.
Is it?
A lighter subject.
You got any subjects today?
You live in the community of Belton. Your team is based out of the community of Belton. If anybody know where Belton is on the map, just hit your Google right now, and then you'll see Central Texas Google with Belton, Waco, Temple, Killeen. That's our little circumference of area.
Fort Hood.
Fort Hood, yes. So, and we were on the subject of parents and community. How supportive has your parents and the surrounding community been since your inception, since you've grown? How have they received you guys?
First year was excellent. I'll just be real. The first year was excellent. This past summer, not so much, because of all the issues that happened. But this year, we started up. Parent support has been great. All the parents. I had a really good parent meeting with all the parents this year. And another free tip: always have a meeting before you let anybody join your team. Talk to the parents first. That's another free one. I'm gonna start charging y'all for these.
You gave what, 3 free tips?
Yeah, I'm about to say we done gave y'all 3 already. But I had a really good meeting with all the parents this year. And the one thing I did differently this year was I gave them my expectations first. Instead of just, starting off with basketball, I started off with everything that my team is going to take and what my team is not going to take. Basically what I'm not going to take. And so I think that set the precedent for, what we're going to do this summer, how things are going to operate this summer. And I actually was talking with, definitely talked to Coach Will before, but I actually talked to one of the coaches that was with San Antonio Finals.
Yes.
And good organization.
Excellent organization.
He
Shout
gave
out
me
San Antonio Finals.
Yeah, San Antonio Finals. Hey, I want y'all to know I listened to y'all that day at that tournament, and they were just telling me about the things that they do and how they handle parents. And it's just a lot of things that they tell them up front that if you as the parent violate, guess what? Y'all can go.
So with that being said, and this is for both of y'all, and I kind of know the answer, but they gotta know the answer to this because somebody out there is dealing with this right now. So in essence, are you willing to sacrifice that good player for that bad parent?
Can I answer first? I tried that. I'll put it like this, okay, I'll put it like this. I asked him some advice on it. His advice was, hey man, you gotta get rid of the kid. If the parent is being a cancer to your program, he said you gotta get rid of that person because it's not the kid. The kid will do whatever the parent is allowing them to do. But if that parent is constantly pumping cancerous, venom, it's not gonna stop. So you gotta get rid of that kid. I also called Speedy from Austin Elite. Same thing he said is the same thing Speedy told me. Hey, get rid of the kid. Get rid of him. Because why? He said you can't have a parent or parents that's going to mess your organization up. And so I didn't listen because I wanted to do what's best for the kid. I was trying to do what was best for the kid. And, it got a little better, but it didn't.
Right.
So.
Okay. My thing, get rid of the parent and the kid. Really, you're getting rid of the parent because normally that parent is a patsy. And what I mean by that is there's another parent in the organization that is totally unhappy, but they found a weaker parent. They're like, hey, coach this, coach this, coach that. So that parent is going to speak up. It's like they throwing a stone and hiding their hand, while the other parent is like, man, I'm going to hit you with this brick. And now you got to get tore out the frame because you hit me with a brick, but your kid got to go. Never going to badmouth the kid unless that kid is just toxic to it. Right. We have this thing, day one meeting, freebie from me. Parents, watch what you say in front of your kids because what you say about the coaches in front of the kid will bring it back. And as much as the school coaches think I hate them, I never talk bad about them in front of my kid. If you saw something on my page, that means another parent brought it to me or several parents brought it to me. And that's when it came out. That's why you never have an issue out of my kids. But your kids, they gotta go.
Yeah.
And true story, when the coaches felt like they had an issue with me. Me and my daughter, we sat down and talked about it. She felt they was taking it out on her. This is going school ball because we're gonna go into the next segment in a minute.
Oh, it's you teeter-totting.
She chose. God works in mysterious ways. I'm gonna tell you up front. They chose a certain path, and my daughter didn't go with it. So when she went back to the school this year, she played fall league. She felt the same vibe. She said, "I'm not gonna play my senior year." I said, "Okay, you comfortable with that?" She said, "Yeah." So instead of being toxic to the school team or the parents, I was glad my daughter removed herself from the situation because I was not going to go to the games.
Well, well, of course, you know, I had two kids that played this year, senior ball this year, and one of my daughters, she came back off the injury. She didn't start playing until December.
It's my real daughter.
That's his real daughter. And she rushed to get back. You know, she wanted to play just for the sake of playing her senior year basketball. And my other daughter, who she went through the blues.
She came off an
ankle injury. She broke her ankle the year before, and she tried to rush to get back. And it was just a lot of things that happened to her, and it prevented growth, you know, during her school season. And like I said, I'm not going to talk bad about any coaches. I don't do that either. But it was just a lot of things that could have been different that didn't happen. And to me, when the fruit you bear will show. And if your kids, and this goes for school, AAU, if your kids' skill set doesn't grow, it shows.
Yes.
Your coaching tactics shows, your coaching mentality shows, your demeanor, it all shows by the fruit you bear. And you can be behind closed doors and nobody has to ever see your practice. Right. But as we all know, how you carry yourself, it will show everywhere you go. And my girls, they didn't necessarily enjoy their senior season this year. They didn't. And it was just the things that was happening, you know, they just...
The things that were being said by...
Yeah.
I'll say it for them. The things that were being said by not only the coaches, but the parents that were a part of his program. It carried over to school ball. This is why I say get rid of petty. Get rid of distraction. Like we as adults, our skin's a little bit thicker. But when you coming at a kid and you standing around a kid on purpose, this is why you get rid of the toxic parents in your program. College coaches will do it all the time. I can tell you, they will find a way to get rid of your kid without being sued.
I won't lie, and he says thicker skin. I won't lie. A lot of things that happened this past summer, man, it hurt me to the bone. It really did. And he'll tell you, I was close to quitting. I wasn't gonna do this summer. I called him. I said, Will, man, I don't think I'm gonna do Dynasty this summer. I can't deal with this type of things that happen, and I don't want to deal with this no more. He said, man, stop all that crying. I said, what? He said, man, you lucky. You went through it your second year. He said, you should be glad it happened early and not later on in your coaching career when you get to year 4, year 5. He said, you got lucky enough that, you know, you get rid of, you know, cancers early.
They showed up early. The tumor showed up early. He didn't just have cancer cells. He had tumors.
So I appreciate that because, like I said, I would have missed out on the opportunity to coach these girls that, you know, that was calling me, Coach, when we starting practice and when we doing this, and so I started getting enough of them calls, and so I called him. I said, I'm good, man. I'm back. He's like, man, I already knew it. So you know what I mean. Right. So you know that I think that's, you know, and that's even going back to the love. You know what I mean, like. Right. When you create bonds with these girls, man, and just you find that's where my love is, because most of my girls, you know, that was able to come to my wedding, they were all there.
Right.
You know, we all took pictures. We all, you know, we loved on each other. We laughed and joked, and even girls that play for me that don't even play for me no more, They was at the wedding.
Right.
And that's how you know you created a solid bond. And that's what some miserable people, I'm not gonna say all parents, some miserable people, they miserable in their life, so they try to live through the kids. So they're like, you know what? This guy's doing great things over here. Let me see how I can make his life a living hell. And that's how they come at you. Miserable people, misery loves company. Guess what? We don't keep that company.
When we came up with this idea to have this format, everything was just like we pictured, to be real and nothing sugar-coated. That's why we ain't stopped what we're saying. We want you to say what you want to say because this is the avenue to get it out.
Yeah.
It's not bashing anyone. It's not targeting anyone. But it's like we always say, there's someone out there that has these questions, someone that has these thoughts, and they don't know how to get it answered. They don't know how to ask anyone. So we're answering these thoughts and these questions for the masses that's out there. For everyone that's watching our videos and see our format, this is what we're trying to achieve as our goal. But you guys did get into part of what I was going to ask next. This is a hot button topic. You can scroll down any timeline on any
Basketball
forum,
group.
any basketball forum, and it's always a divide. And I was just reading the other day about how coaches feel about one another, whether they're on the travel ball side or on the high school side. So what I want to ask.
Wait, in some states,
In some states.
they are the same. The high school coach is the AAU
Right.
coach.
Right.
But in this state,
Not in Texas.
It's not allowed.
There's a great divide. And we had a conversation with another gentleman about this the other night. We will cover that later. But relationships with the high school coach versus the travel ball coach. How is it in your eyes? That's one part.
Okay.
If it is a divide, what is your solution to
I've been
fix?
waiting on this question.
What is your solution to bridge the gap between the discord that seems to be going on? And three parts. With me? If you had a choice, would you go and coach in the school system here in Texas under UIA?
You want to go first, Will?
No, this for you.
This for you.
Oh,
This for
man.
you, big dog.
Because you don't want to follow my answers.
Man,
At all.
probably not.
'Cause
So,
I'm coming.
oh, you got like a blazing saddle coming on right now?
Bro, I've been waiting on this.
Okay, first part of the question. How important is the relationship? I think, honestly, truly, I believe it's very important. To me, as an AAU coach, I believe you should have a relationship with the coaches with the high school coaches, because you're coaching their kids, ultimately. And I believe that even if you don't, even if y'all don't have the same coaching philosophies, even if y'all don't, teach the same things, I believe there should be some form of communication to where you should be able to go to that coach and say, hey, this is what your kid has been doing this summer. Give them some type of evaluation on how they're progressing, just so they'll know when they do get back, okay, this kid got better at this kid got get better than that. Because, to me, it will only help both programs. Because if you're communicating back and forth with their coach, they'll already know what they're dealing with when they get back. Like, oh, okay, left hand still weak. Okay, I got to work on his left hand. You know what I mean? Jump shot still weak. Got to work on the jump shot, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I think, that part of it should be something that all of the coaches should strive for, because, man, how beautiful would it be if that kid goes back and that coach already knows this is what that, even if you tell the coach, hey, she got a bad attitude, you might want to check her attitude, she'll know, okay, she been had an attitude problem. You know what I mean? Or even if, like you said earlier, even if the parent is the issue, you should be able to tell that high school coach, hey, you might want to watch that kid's parent, because this kid's parent is an issue. To me, it should be, what I mean?
Yeah.
That should definitely be, big on everybody's book.
Right.
What I want to coach in high school, honestly and truly, that's my goal. I just got, I'm finishing up my teacher certificate now, and that's one of my goals, to coach high school or middle school, wherever I can get hired on to, because, and that's always been my goal anyway, is to coach in the schools. And so definitely I'm glad I've had this AAU experience because I think it'll help me, when I do get into school to tell the AAU coaches, hey man, look, I'm not one of them guys that don't want to hear nothing y'all got to say, or I don't want to listen to y'all. No, give me all your feedback. Why? Because if you're coaching my player, I need to know something about this player because I don't get a chance to see him the whole summer. Right. Y'all got it. You know what I mean? Especially if y'all starting up in March and April and y'all practices March and y'all going all the way through July, and I don't have, I'm just saying, just tournament wise, and I haven't seen them that whole time. I need to know something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I need to get an idea of what I'm dealing with because, when they come back to me in August, September, we already back in the basketball period, and I ain't heard nothing about them, and it's really like you starting over naked again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I encourage, because I tried, like I said, I really did try, having a good relationship with the Belton coach this year, and it was okay. You know what I mean? For the most part, I gave her, because what I did every month, I would give evaluations on the kids. I would text her, hey, this kid is doing this, this girl is progressing in that, and like I said, now whether she used it or not, I don't know. But for me, as the AAU coach, I wanted to give it to her. You know what I mean? Just to cover. For me, that was covering my end. You know what I mean? And for me, I just thought it was important to do it. And so, what was the other question? It was a part two.
You got it.
Okay.
I'm letting him in. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you a different question. Where do you think? When and where do you think the divide began with so much animosity between the two sides, where one was feeling like we're taking from the other and vice versa? Where did you start to see that start to happen?
I saw it start to happen when different coaching styles. A lot of school coaches would say, not all school coaches, but a lot of school coaches would say, AAU ball, travel coaches, don't teach anything, it's run up and down the court, run up and down the court. Now, that's not true. In a lot of high-profile players, that's what they do because that's what the college coaches are there to see. That's what the fans are there to see. That's what the shoe companies are there to see. They're there to see those kids run up and down the court. Who can jack up the most craziest shot? Who can get to the basket? Who can dunk on? Who can cross who over? That's what's going to sell tickets in the future. But for the most part, AAU coaches have kids 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. We have them for the sake of unity, from March to July. Okay, sometime August. For us, it's September. We're teaching fundamentals. We're teaching basketball IQ. School coaches would teach plays. You stick to the play. Don't you go anything outside this play where the player will see other options, or they'll see they have the mismatch. So, because I'm teaching a different style of basketball than you're teaching, now there's some kind of animosity. And when I say animosity, I mean jealousy. There's no other way to put it. It's just straight out jealousy. I know for me, if coaches are like me, I'm not asking you to use your gyms. I'm not asking you for a recommendation. I'm not asking any of that, because at that point, you're like, oh, well, you owe me something. I've seen where school districts in other cities actually work with their AAU coaches, and the championship has never left that city. The state championship has not left Dallas in 11, 12 years on the girls' side.
Well, Justin got that one last year.
Just that one in 12 years.
Yeah.
I've never seen it leave, except last year. They have a great relationship with their basketball program. When Pflugerville was doing their thing,
yes,
they had a great relationship with their AAU coaches. And I'll tell anybody this, I didn't grow up here. I've been around the world and back again. So my mindset is, if I'm in the community, I may as well make an impact in the community. That's where the disconnect is.
Right.
When you go up and down the timeline, I do see school coaches bashing travel coaches, but where it gets mixed up at, they're talking about the bad travel coaches. They're not talking about the ones that are doing it, but they don't clarify that. And like us, sometimes they don't say names to keep the friction up. Me on occasion, You can piss me off enough, I'll call you by name, because I ain't scared of you. But that's what a disconnect is. It's ego, jealousy, whatever. Mm-hmm. Because I don't understand how you can be a school coach. And I'm talking about in this district. You have those kids 6 days a week. You have them 3 to 4 hours. From September, you can't really have organized practice in September, but you're in that gym. From conditioning programs to drills, you can run drills. They're in the basketball period. You have them 6 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day, and they don't end the season looking better than what they did. Then when they come to us, I don't talk about school ball. It's on the first day of official practice. I would tell everybody in that gym, this is not school ball. I'm not your school coach. You're not about to play on school level. You're about to play on kids that want to go to college. It's a different level. It's a different physicality. It's a different mentality. You must learn to think for yourself. Right. School, they don't get that. Here, other school systems, because I travel a lot, all around the country. Look on the Cougars timeline, you'll see I'm friends with people Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, New York, just from all across the country. Every state is different. But here in this district,
man, just tell the truth.
Outside of Temple coach, the new Temple coach, the relationship with the AAU coaches is trash. And if this pisses you off and you go get with other AAU teams like, yeah, you can come practice here, then my job is done. We still gonna pay for our gym time because that's what we do. Our practice schedule ain't on nobody else's time frame. So if you get a case of the ass with Coach Will, I'm not gonna let him in the gym. I don't care. I got a gym that we practice in anyway. Actually, we have 2 that we pay for. That pisses coaches off too because it comes across as arrogant. It's not arrogant. I'm just not gonna kiss your ass. None of my players are gonna kiss your ass. That's another disconnect that we have. Because, and you've seen it. I would challenge my players. I would purposely tell them something wrong after they've been with us 2-3 weeks to see if they're gonna challenge me. Because if you know what you're talking about, it's a certain way that you say it. And it's a certain time to stand up and a certain time to back down.
Right.
So I encourage players to think for themselves.
Okay, Coach Sheldon. In this district, District 12-6A, girls basketball, what is missing? What is the biggest thing these girls are missing?
One thing they're missing is an accountable coach. And I'm not saying holding them to be disciplined and basketball things. I'm holding them to being accountable as to their actions because they haven't improved anything over years. Their mindset in this area is to win district, win out, and that's it. When they get in the playoffs and they haven't learned how to make adjustments throughout the season, or they don't know what they have on the bench to go ahead and combat what they're playing, then it puts the kids at a disservice. 2, they don't allow them to think outside the box. They want the design of the play that they see in their head to work that way and that way only. Once you go outside that box and you don't conform to what they want, then now you're in their doghouse and you may not even see the floor whenever they need you to see the floor, or whenever they want to put other people on the floor. You're just stuck in that doghouse. 3, these kids, I believe they, in the summertime when they're playing with their organizations, and not all of them, because you can see the maturation process from a lot of these kids, but a lot of them are playing with teams that aren't actually going out and getting them pure challenge. They're not going out and getting them the exposure they need to play the competition that's going to help them when they get in the playoffs. Because those teams that they're seeing in the playoffs are teams that have played at a high level all summer against high competition. So when it's time to turn it on, they know how to turn it on. And that's the deficiencies that they have, because everyone wants to play it safe. Everybody wants to just do enough just to keep what's going. And that's not fair. I come from a football background, and I'm gonna take you down a little story time.
Story time.
I graduated from this area, Ellison High School, class of '99. Shout out to anybody that's listening. And I was on the '98 football team that had over. No, Tommy was 2 years after me. We had over 13 D1 players. I even got a look. I got to play Division III college football. I'm not gonna say name, but I did that. Nevertheless, that year that team was ranked nationally, and that team should have won state. Why didn't we win state? Because the coaches were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. So when you play it safe, that's the infection that you put in the minds of these kids. When they get the mindset of well, man, they up there, they got all these kids in Dallas. We are never going to beat them, but we'll go play them. They give these kids no hope to ever go out and compete. Coach had a conversation with a local male coach that coaches a team in this city, catch, about this same situation, and all the excuses came out about why they couldn't compete, but I never heard why they could compete. Mm-hmm. So if that's the mindset of the coach, what do you think that locker room is
that
like?
Coach unfriended me, by the way. I think he blocked me too.
Right. So to say that's what they're missing, and we see it when we get kids in our program that we put a lot of time and work in.
Yeah.
And we put them out there, but the coaches don't see that. They just see what they want to see. And lastly, I'm gonna add this in here. There's a lot of coaches that predetermine who they want on this team based off what the parents are doing for the booster. Okay?
Ooh, Coach Sheldon.
Yeah. So if you have a predetermined notion of who's gonna be on that team, and you got a kid that's worked their butt off over the summer, but they don't get the opportunity to show you, or they're on a short leash when they make that mistake, they don't get another chance, you're missing out, because that kid is going to help your program, but you don't see that. And those are the kids that are actually signing when it's time to sign. And the kids that are on the team that think they're supposed to sign because they made a district team, or they did this and did that, and they sitting at home trying to call somebody, trying to get an offer, they wonder what did they do to sign. But y'all won't even let them come to the gym if they don't be a part of the team to come sign that letter. But we ain't talking about that. We'll talk about that later.
And to add on to your accountability piece, see, he said it in a nice way. I'm gonna say it straightforward. In other districts, you cannot have a coach going 0 for anything. Not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, 4 or 5 years. That is no accountability by the ADs or anybody, because if they were on the college level, if they were on, because all the coaches here are teachers. If their students are constantly failing the test, you will fire them. Mm-hmm. If they're constantly failing your class, you're gonna call them an ineffective teacher. When you're coaching athletes, you're coaching the next leaders of the world, not just in your community, of the world. So it's not okay for my kids to come play at a bottom feeder program. And what I mean by bottom feeder, it's not that the kids don't have the talent. The coach don't have the talent. The coach can't come outside of an elevated Princeton offense or a motion offense that's designed to get the ball inside, but you got your tallest player is 5'9". At that point, you have 5 guards on the floor. Mm-hmm. Elevate your coaching game, because I'm telling you now, if I was a parent and my kid was in one of them programs, I'll be calling for you to get fired, because I'm watching your program before we even go into the school, before my kid even gets to high school. So
let me ask you this: so why do you think parents don't call for coaches to get fired?
Oh, my kid's on varsity, and that's all that matters to me is they're on varsity. But your kid played the same amount. Most of these kids play during the summer. You holding the AAU coaches to a standard, but you won't hold your school coach to the same standard. Guess what? You're a taxpayer. Your tax dollars go to those coaches. Your tax dollars go to the football program, the baseball program, the basketball program, swimming. Y'all don't fund the wrestling program. I don't know why. Y'all should get out and catch some of them wrestling matches, because they be getting it in.
Got some state champions this year too. Shout out to Elson High School state champions, baby.
Elson doing work in wrestling?
Oh yeah.
But I'm telling you, that's the accountability piece. Parents, you got so much to say in the bleachers. You ain't got to talk to the coach. You can, but that does something to the kids. They don't even believe they should be able to win. When we go out and we know we're playing a team with ranked players on it, we don't say, "Oh, that's the number 5 kid in the country." Her ass about to get to work too.
Get after it.
That's accountability. Because we can't go, well, for y'all to have a real job, you can't go on your job and be like, well, I didn't get in sales today, or I didn't teach anybody today, because that customer was a tough customer. It's like a company.
Yeah.
School is supposed to prep you for the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna let your kid come on and have a sorry ass job performance and keep their job?
You know what I think? I think there's more accountability in football in this area.
Football is king in Texas.
Than it is in girls basketball. Because, and the reason I'll give you an example.
In Belton.
Well, Belton just got a new coach this year. So shout out to the new coach. I hope he does well, man. You got a lot of new talent. You got a lot of talent in Belton, man. So I hope you do something with it. But I just believe and I guess I'm using all this so when I do go into the schools and coach, that I can remember all these things that, the accountability piece and how I should conduct myself as a high school or middle school coach. And I feel like when I do get in that position, and if I am a head coach of a high school girl or a boys high school, and if I don't go to the playoffs, me personally, I think it should be brought to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm the one that everybody should come and talk to.
Right.
Like, why didn't y'all make the playoffs?
So we won't hear that excuse from you. I don't get to pick the kids.
Mm-mm. No, sir. Because you have to. The one thing I've learned about, especially in AAU, you coach what you have.
You coach what you have. That's any level.
You coach what you have. If you know that you have a girl that can't shoot, why would you put her in a position on the perimeter and she can't shoot? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. That's a DTD moment.
And I just and not, like I said, I'm not bashing other coaches, but you have to know your personnel. If you don't know your personnel, why are you out there?
Good question.
If you say that this kid is a point guard and they can't use both hands, that's not a point guard.
What? A point guard got to use both hands?
That's what I was told. I don't know about you. Is that a requirement for the Cougars?
I would believe so.
I wish you would call yourself a guard and can't use with one hand.
You cutting off half the court. You might as well come sit with me. We sit on one side of the court.
We gonna watch this game together. And if they don't have it, you got 6 days a week, 3 to 4 hours. Break them down.
Mm-hmm.
You got assistant coaches. They shouldn't be there just holding clipboards and coach you on some water. Split up the court. You got 2 gyms. Split up the court. Freshman, JV, varsity.
Mm-hmm. Teach fundamentals. I think that's a lot of the lack is fundamentals.
And IQ.
Yeah. Oh, definitely IQ.
Maybe the coaches don't have the IQ.
I don't know that, Coach Will. I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying.
I ain't saying that.
I said it. That's a freebie.
All right.
Another one?
Another.
That's like 5.
All right. We're gonna cool off.
I got grapefruits around here,
we gonna cool off from that topic there, because that can go on and on and on
Man.
and on and on. And we may have to bring Coach Brewer back for another round, for we got some other things that we're gonna go on. You feel kind of nice with the team here.
Hey man,
you flowing.
We might have to have 3 coaches one conversation.
Hey man, Hey, look, I'm always camera ready, man. I guess being a preacher, you used to talking in front of folks, so this is easy for me.
Okay.
Too easy then.
Deliver the word, my brother.
We're gonna have to book him again.
I know.
Hey, shout out to the cameraman, because he's making me look good out here today.
Cameraman doing wonderful things here. We like thanks Nate Studio for these beautiful lights.
Yes, sir.
Lighting sponsored by Nate Studio.
Brightening up our life.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying?
All right, so let's turn to a little softer topic here. A little softer topic. We can bring the.
He's sweating over here.
Bring the air
it
down
ain't from
in
the
the
lights
room.
either, folks.
All right, so all of us have had daughters that play basketball now. I got the opportunity to coach Will's daughter. He got the opportunity to coach my daughter. Yeah, that is your daughter. I'm sorry. He had the opportunity to coach your daughter. Yeah. So I'm tracking now. But give us, and you can chime in. Tell us about what it was like to be able to coach your daughter, and for all the dads out there that do coach their kids, give them insight as to how you separate church from state, like how you separate dad from coach, and give us a moment where you was like, "Ooh, did I go too hard on? But I gotta stay in character."
Man, it's so. That's such a touchy subject, man, because you have to separate it. Because if you always stay in coach mode, y'all will not have a good relationship.
At all.
Man, I'm telling you, because when my daughter, when his daughter finally said she was ready for me to coach her, I was like, the first thing I asked her, I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yeah, I'm ready now." Because I told her, I said, I'm not gonna take it easy on you. I'm probably gonna go harder at you than I go at anybody else. So one of the moments that we were in San Antonio, and she had made just a dumb play. I brought her to the bench, sat her down. I forget what I said to her, but it wasn't nice. That's all I can say. My wife was at the scores table, and she was taking the score. And I guess my daughter and I got so loud that she had to come over there and break the conversation up and made my daughter go to the end of the bench. And so, and my assistant coach was like, I got her. Hey, thanks, Coach Jay. But he's like, I got her, man. Just go ahead. And so he made sure that, the rest of the game that he talked to her, I ain't talked to her.
Right.
And so, after the game was over with, I had to talk with the team. I decompressed real quick and got out of coach mode. And I said, hey, let's go over and talk, baby. And she was like, yes. I said, hey, we're not in game mode. I said, we're not in game no more.
My daughter is a competitor.
Oh my goodness.
Just so you know, so
we lost that game too.
Oh. So she was hot.
Oh man, she was hot as fish grease that game. So I told her, baby, I know I was loud, but hey, let's let it go. We'll leave that game on the court. Let's go get something to eat.
Right.
And so, at that moment but dad, we should have lost. I said, hey, let's not talk about the game right now. We're going out to eat. We're going with the rest of the team. And so, you have to have that line, because if you don't, it can turn the team. It can really affect the team, especially if they see you two, daughter and coach. If they see you constantly going at it, it'll affect the rest of them, because they'll be like, God dang,
he on her.
Yeah, he stay on her. God no, So I try to, even though I stayed on her, but I made sure that I only took it so far. But I took it enough to push her buttons to where, because with her, you got to push her buttons, Because if you don't say a couple words to her,
she will walk over you.
Yeah, she'll walk over you. And she's just one of them type of players that you
right.
You got to keep a foot on. So
now, for my daughter, again, Coach Sheldon actually coached my daughter, but there was one game where I was sitting on the bench because my team didn't have to play. And I was looking at her play and she wasn't giving her best effort. He called a timeout and I went in. After the timeout, of course she went and played, but we didn't talk about it for 2 days after. There was a reason. I would be in practice with my daughter, help with that, but I would not coach her, just for the same reason. If I go in on her, it's because I expect more out of her.
Yep.
I know what she can do, what she can't do, and that game she just wasn't. Everybody was looking at me like, oh, he went in. But after that, I didn't say anything the rest of the game. I sat on the bench and I gave it a look. And I like, don't look at me, look at him. That's your coach. But that's the reason I don't coach my daughter, because we have a great off-the-court relationship. Mm-hmm. And really, the same question I asked my daughter when she was 5th grade. She played rec ball and all that stuff. And then she said she wanted to play travel ball. I say, you sure? She said, yeah. I say, it requires a different level of commitment. I don't expect them to take it easy on you. And if they do take it easy on you, they can't coach you. Right. And from then on, it was a whole different story. Yeah. So she did what was necessary. She didn't really click till 6th grade. And after that, boom, the ball been rolling.
One thing I know that's true, you have to make sure that you tell your child that if I bench another kid, I'll bench you just the same. Mm-hmm. And if you don't establish that part early, I think it'll be more detrimental to the team. You know.
And I would tell you the truth. Like the new people to the team, they didn't know that was my daughter until somebody pointed it out that it was my daughter. Everybody was like, man, she always with me. Sometimes people don't find out that's my daughter until we're 3 months into the season. but that's the way it's supposed to be. My actual biological daughter, not my other daughter that he claims on his taxes.
It's his child.
She eats like I do too.
All right, so we had you on the hot seat. We got one more thing to ask you.
All right, let's get it.
Still a softball question.
So bringing it back to everything in the Cen-Tex Dynasty. So what is your end game with them, and what can your parents or your players and your staff, everything, what can they expect going forward, and how far into the future do you see this thing riding?
Well, first off, before I even answer that, I just want to give a good shout out to Coach Jay, Coach Marvin, for coming in and definitely doing they're doing a great job, man, with the team. And I don't think people understand having two other coaches. Man, that's a good thing to have. And I didn't, because I've only had one coach at one point. It was just me and Coach Jay, and we added Coach Marvin on, and now, you got three of us running up and down the court, and it makes life easy out there to train these girls and get the fundamentals down. But the end result, man, is really, man, and I will say this, it's not basketball. That's not really my end result. The main thing I try to do is build a relationship, because I want these relationships to last when they get grown, when they got kids, and they go to college, and that's my end game, is to build a big family. Mm-hmm. Is to help the next girl that had a dream of playing college ball, and to be, just like my wedding, just if they get married, hey coach, I'm getting married, I'll be there. Oh coach, I got a game here, it's in another state, I'll be there. You know what I mean? That's my end game. Like, it has really nothing to do with basketball, because basketball's the easy part. If you love the game, basketball is fun, it's easy. It ain't supposed to be hard. It ain't supposed to be easy, but basketball's fun. But the hard part is trying to get everybody to mesh.
Right.
So that's my whole thing, man. If we can build a family outside the court, that's my end game, to make it a dynasty. Because you already know a dynasty is something that continues to build, and it builds on top of that. And that's the reason why we call it a dynasty, because I wanted to just parents, kids, grandparents, when they talk about us, it's like, hey, those coaches and that organization, they did right by my child. Mm-hmm. That's the end game, man.
Good stuff.
I want to be like Coach Will one day.
What's that, Coach? What's that?
16 years in, still gonna be like, I'm still here.
Now what?
That's a lot of years, man.
That's a lot of up and downs.
Well, hey, it ain't supposed to be easy, right?
If it was easy, everybody could claim to do it.
So, and real quick, man, I know this ain't my show, but
it is today, though.
It is. Hey, it is today, though. So I just want to say, hey, shout out, really, man, and really just shout out to all the girls that go to every program, and shout out to all the teams in the Central Texas area, man. And I hope these videos, man, can really bring together all of the AAU coaches, man. Throw all the egos out the window. Let's get a round table together, man, and let's talk about how we can make this area a hotbed for recruiting, man. Because at the end of the day, none of these coaches care about how many tournament trophies we win. They don't care how many ribbons we put around our neck. They don't care nothing about all that.
They keep the trophies.
Yeah, exactly. Like we here to help these girls get to the next level. So if we can all help each other do that, let's get together, man. I don't care if you don't like Coach Will, so what? Throw it out the window. You don't like me? That's cool. Throw it out the window. But let's get together as coaches and as dreamers. Meaning as a dreamer, you dream of something bigger. You know what I'm saying? You want something for these girls. If you're really about these girls, I'm sure they can put their phone numbers. I'll put my phone number on there. Let's text each other, call each other.
I have stalkers.
Okay, my bad. He got stalkers, but whatever. But what I'm saying is, man, let's get together as a community. Waco, Temple, Killeen, Cove, don't matter. Academy, I don't care. Gatesville, whoever. land passes, Salado. Get together and let's do something for these girls here, because this area has too much talent for these girls not to be going to college. Everybody ain't gonna go D1, but there's a lot of D2s, there's a lot of D3s, NAIAs, JUCOs. There's a whole lot of schools in just Texas alone that ain't even getting these girls in our area. Why? Because we as coaches are not one. That's why he was saying about the Dallas area. Those coaches, they all, they might not all get along, but I guarantee you though, when it comes to them girls,
they do.
That's the end game.
That's the end game. Hey, this girl here can ball. I saw her ball at such. If that's what you're looking for, hey, I know one over at this school. And that's how it should be here. If a coach is looking for a post, I should be able to say, well, I ain't got one that you're looking for, but I know Coach Will got one. You might want to go call him. And that's the way,
Coach Will does that.
He all the time. He does it all the time. But my thing is, for some of you other coaches, how many of y'all do that, man? How many of y'all actually do that?
I'm about to throw a ball out there.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
They don't have it. And I'm not bragging, because again, I didn't do this by myself. They just don't have the college connections.
Okay.
But we can change that if we had a round table discussion.
Have a round
Because
table.
I can't do this forever. Matter of fact, we in the process of transition.
Right.
So it's a lot of knowledge that we do have, a lot of contacts that we do have. And even if you go on our page, you see I just shared kids' information from Florida, North Carolina, and Mississippi, all within the last 24 hours.
Man, like I said, my daughter is talking to a coach from Minnesota because of him. We ain't never been to Minnesota.
It's cold up there, though.
He called my daughter, hey, Mr. Brewer. But that's the type of stuff that I think should happen. And I'm sure these coaches agree. They're willing, I guarantee you, they are willing to throw anything that's ever been said out to do something for these girls. Because at the end of the day, hey man, that's what this thing is all about. That's why they're doing these videos, man. These videos for these girls, for the community, for everybody here. These videos ain't just so they can just sit here and just, sit in front of a camera and talk. It's supposed to help somebody. So that's why I'm here today. Coronavirus or not. But
we'll
we
be
here.
on the line, baby.
Yeah, man. We here, man. We here for these girls. I know these coaches here for these girls. Coach Sheldon, the editor. Got to give shout outs to this man because I seen his videos. He does good work. So if y'all need us, get at me, CenTexDynasty.com.
All the description for his contact, our contact will be in the description box. Because like I said, out there's always somebody asking the question in their mind, but they just don't know how to get it out there. Once again, we want to thank Coach Brewer for stopping by. After this time, you just got a newlywed wife at home, so you had to step out a little bit and come hang out with us.
Go get your honeymoon on.
Hey, we've been honeymooning since last week, baby.
We appreciate it. Once again, I am Coach Sheldon.
I'm Coach Will.
And this is Two Coaches, One Conversation. We out, baby.